Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good. We talked to Dorian yesterday. He seemed to be very relaxed, poised, confident, and self-assured. Seems like he's come a long way in the growth department since he first stepped foot on campus. What have you seen in him as far as his growth and where he is now?
I think he's been a great leader in this offseason. We have a couple guys that have been here for a while. Blaylock, Mo, Sam Marazzo, Dorian specifically, that have done a great job of kind of leading the younger guys through this offseason. They had a tremendous summer working at Coach Bolton, our strength and conditioning program. And he was on point yesterday. He did a first practice. But I think it's kind of to be expected. He was a fifth-year keeper in the back that's got a ton of reps. And he's gotten better. He's always been that type of guy. The more reps he gets, the better he gets. He's had a ton. We're excited about what this season is.
Can you provide any status updates on Damian Sellers and Mike Martinez?
Yeah, they're unavailable right now.
What about Selna?
Unavailable right now.
Is Delon Hurt still part of the program?
No, Delon is not. Delon is graduating.
He's graduating. Is John Gaines back with his family right now? I know that his mom tweeted out. Or
John will be here tonight.
He'll be here today.
And then one more, Ollie Cajo,
He's here.
available.
Unavailable for practice.
What's your what's kind of the COVID policy now for this season for the guys? You know,
From what we learned at league meetings, it's up to the individual counties and schools. So there's not, from my understanding, there's not a league protocol, but it's set down from the Pac-12. But it's whatever LA County and UCLA determines it. So.
is it similar to what it was last year for you guys? Speaking about UCLA,
I think we're right around the same thing. Yeah.
We saw Nicholas Barmiro doing some punting in the spring. Is that something you'd consider doing, having a guy do double duty?
I mean, we're looking for the best kickoff guy. We're looking for the best field goal guy. We're looking for the best punter. So the versatility of Nick is one of his strengths. He did a great job punting for us in the spring. So and we got a couple other legs out there, and we're just obviously in day 2. So today's the first day of punt. We did kick off yesterday, so he'll get every opportunity to compete for that starting job. And I thought we were all impressed with what he did during spring time.
Does that present unique challenges doing both?
It does, but it just depends on the individual. There are some guys that can handle it and do it. Nick is certainly one of them. He did a good job kicking during the spring. He did a good job punting during the spring. So, we'll see how that whole competition. We have 4 or 5 kickers and punters in camp, and everybody will get opportunities because of how we train. So, but we're excited about Nick as a punter. He would have punted for us in our bowl game last year, and then he continued working through the whole off season and did a really nice job last spring.
How does having an experienced roster, how does that help when it comes to these preseason practices and getting people up to speed?
It's just they've been there, done that, so they can explain to the younger kids not only how we're doing things, but why we're doing things. And we do have a veteran leadership group that is, a lot of them have been here 5. Some guys like Mo Wassing have been here 6 years. I think we all went through a unique thing with COVID, but the Bo Calverts of the world and the Dorians and the Gainesies and the Marazzos and those guys that have been around have really done a good job of being mentors to the younger guys in our program.
you've had 2 players over the last couple of months who very publicly revealed they were going through some mental health challenges. What kind of system have you put in place to kind of help identify people who are struggling and support them when they're having those challenges?
Yeah, our athletic department's done a great job with professional support. That's not something that I think the coaches or the administrators. It's something that you have to get the professionals involved in that. I think we have a great CAPS program here on campus that does a lot of work there, but all of those referrals go through Dr. Goldman and Dr. McAllister to our medical team, and then they take over in those situations.
Our coaches kind of like first line response, and sometimes
we are, but if we identify issues or we see anything that's out of the ordinary with the young man, then we recommend them to we turn it over to the medical staff and the medical staff.
What about let's talk about NIL for a second. Ryan Day said he needed $13 million for his program. Greg Schiano went out and talked to boosters and said you gotta step up so we don't lose guys to other teams in the transfer portal. Where would you say UCLA's NIL football is right now, and what can you do to support it?
Well, we can just support it, but we can't be out soliciting donations to give to players. You know, I think people have kind of convoluted the whole rule of name, image, and likeness. Is the student athletes can make money off of their name, image, and likeness, but coaches can't be involved in brokering deals for student athletes. This is not pay for play. This is not recruiting inducements. So our school has set up the Westwood Exchange, and the businesses go through the Westwood Exchange. That's all signed off by our Compass, which is our compliance office that we use. We partnered with a group Influencer. I think we have over 140 businesses that have gone through the Westwood Exchange to provide opportunities for our student athletes. So I think our guys are doing a really good job. You know, the thing is with it, it's the guys who want to do it. You know, not everybody wants to be involved in it. Not everybody wants to take the time, because you have to show work. This is not a quid pro quo. You have to do work. You know, so if you want to make money in name, image, and likeness, you have to be willing to go do the work that you have to do in name, image, and likeness. People just can't pay you X amount of dollars to do nothing. You know, I think maybe at some other places that happens, but at this place it doesn't. So I think what our athletic department has done with the Westwood Exchange has been really beneficial to us.
What do you? It's early, like you said, but what have you seen from some of the newer offensive linemen, like Raekwon O'Neal?
He looked good running around in helmet yesterday. You know, I mean, the big thing for the offensive and defensive linemen is these first couple of days when we're not in full pads, they really have to cooperate with each other. So he's got really good football acumen. He's a smart kid when it comes to football. You know, he looks like he's got a good movement skill with him. But yesterday was the first time that we had an opportunity to ever be on the field with him. So you know, that's going to be an ongoing deal with all of those guys. But you know, I was impressed with kind of his retention. I was impressed with his athleticism. But it's really don't have enough information to make any really good, hard decisions on anything right now.
Just one follow-up on NIL, if I could. I mean, how big of a thing is it in recruiting and retaining players?
Well, you shouldn't have to do it in retaining players because schools can't recruit people off the roster. So that would be an NCAA violation if that were to be occurring. So, you know, I think if the enforcement arm of the NCAA catches up to the rules of the NCAA, I think we'll be in a great situation.
With Laiatu Latu, is he fully available,
He's
fully cleared
available.
at this point?
Yep, he's cleared to go full go in practice.
Where do
so
you
he was
see,
full go yesterday?
with his size, where do you see him fitting in? What is his kind of versatility?
He's got a lot of versatility. He's got a lot of athleticism. You know, again, similar to the question about the offensive lineman, we haven't been in full pads with him, but he's obviously a tall, long, athletic. He's big. You know, he's 6'5", he's 275 pounds, but he can really run. You know, so right now he's playing outside linebacker for us. He's done a nice job in the first training session that we had yesterday, but you know, I think he could play in a lot of different spots with his size and athleticism.
You got, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're somewhere in the 70s with your number of scholarships players. How did you kind of get there, and how does that impact things going into the season?
It doesn't. We'll be at 85 by the end of camp, so we're a lot higher than that.
How will you get there?
What do you mean?
Well, unless I'm missing, are you going to give out some scholarships, or how are you going to get?
No, we don't give out anything. Kids will earn opportunities for them. There's one or two more kids that can earn opportunities to get a full scholarship. So, but we're in the 80s right now, so we don't have any money.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks.